With everything going on in the world, and like I said, this is not a political show, so just follow me on this narrative paths of generic expressions. Los Angeles always seems to be the place where it's like, man, everybody wants to go to Los Angeles for a lot of personal and creative reasons. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they do not. And sometimes even big corporations make very drastic decisions. And some have succeeded, but others have not. And some of them you just can't help but acknowledge, you hate him, but he's good. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez and I'm a critic and we're talking about the Los Angeles Rams. Because God, I don't like them, but they're good. So the Los Angeles Rams came into this season after a phenomenal season, basically by one man in Puka Nacua, who everyone was thinking, okay, how good can they get? Can they really be? Then of course they got defensive help by basically drafting basically half of the Florida State defense, which proved to be more valuable than ever expected. To the point you're thinking, did Sam Darnold just split into two different beings and became a dynamic force again? The Russian attack. So a lot of and then Matthew Stafford, found the fountain of youth or some, steroid use that no one's supposed to know unless you're a quarterback in that small contingency of quarterback council. So with all that, the Rams were good, and it was kind of weird because I was still on the sus of okay, the Rams are good. I mean, I had them at 11-6, 7-10 at best, and like I said, I was still on the fence of are they really good? Are we just, because a lot of you guys happen to live in Los Angeles, so you're kind of like, riding the bandwagons of the Rams, and well, they were kind of good. I mean, they went 10-7, like I said. That that very 10-7 doomed the Seahawks. Tiebreaker can literally be a bitch. So that's the thing. They were considered so good, but they were a 10-win team. I just couldn't help but feel like, really? Really? And the thing is that, the Bucks were considered the same way, but the Bucks defense was atrocious. So it was very much like the Bucks offense is good, the Bucks team was not. The Ram was considered a team that was good all the way around. And even with that narrative, I'm like, anyone else see this? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. You mean 10-win team, win the division? I mean, I saw the Eagles and Rams playoff game, and I'm telling you right now, I couldn't help but feel like they were a snowstorm away from pretending pulling the upset. Now, would that have led to them going to the Super Bowl? Probably. I feel like the Rams defense would have made Jaden Daniels' life miserable. But that's for a what-if story for another day. So the Rams did what they did, and, looking at the stats, they were better, but the record didn't show it. You know how sometimes you see a team where they have a losing record, but it's like, this team is better than the record? Their record didn't really give, yeah, to the team. I felt like the team was probably a 12-win team, and they probably should have won 12 games in the regular season, but they didn't. Reason happened, but statistically, I think they are a much better team than what the record really was, even though the record was a division title. So going into that, and I think the game that I think made me start coming around took place their best game, sorry, week 14 versus Buffalo. This game reminded me of some of the Madden tournaments I would see, where basically everyone just sacrifices defense for just outscoring you and hopefully who has the ball last. That's what I felt like this game was to me. This was the game that just made me feel a little bit like, huh, that happened. Because the Rams were 6-6. Buffalo was a 10-win team. and I predicted Buffalo was going to win this one. Honestly, don't know really how they Rams were going to win it. I felt more like Josh Allen is on this MVP hype. The Bills are taking names right now, so I'm going to say that the Rams do their best, but the best will just not be enough. But when you watch the game and just how back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you're thinking to yourself, I think by the third quarter, when it was 38-21, and then Buffalo scored, now Josh Allen won in the fourth to make it 38-28. Even I was like, I don't see it. I don't see it. The Rams, just the Rams are. It's not so much that they're gonna win. It was just that the Bills fought hard, and when it was 44-35, I was like, I don't see the Bills doing this. I don't. And then when they scored again, the Bills to make it 44-42, I was like, yeah, I don't see a guy. Like, there was just something, the way the Rams were just methodically driving down the field that made you go, yeah, I don't see the Bills doing this. Even though every time the Bills scored, you're thinking, okay, they're not quitting. But it was like, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the Bills pulling this one off. And that was when I'm thinking, okay, Rams are good. Why their record doesn't show it, though? Why the record doesn't show how good they are? That's my only big complaint. The record didn't show it. The record didn't show how good they were. So that's what I'm gonna say. But I mean, I got look. Stafford had 320 yards. Josh Allen had 342 yards. Puka Nacua had 12 receptions for 162 yards. Definitely did an ice bath after that. But then the total 457 for the Rams, 445 for the Bills, and no one turned the ball over. So even the argument of the turnovers played a factor in determining the victor of the game, there was no turnovers. I mean, Rams had, 38 minutes to Bills 21, so maybe the Rams had the ball a lot longer. And first down was 28-25 in Rams' favor. So was it because the Rams had the ball longer? Was that really the big X factor in the total stats? Is that the Rams the Rams just had onto the ball longer? That's all they did. They just ate the clock longer because you look at the stats and everything. And thinking, yeah, that's the only one I can really see that's obviously a difference between the two. But yeah, that's all I got. Rams, that was your best game. Kudos to you. Your worst game though took place 2 weeks before, which was the reason why I was like, why is everyone on the Rams being this good? Dark Horse comic, all that narrative. Because Philadelphia was like, do you forget we're here? Did you forget that Philadelphia's here? I mean, when the Niners imploding, it mainly felt like it was Philadelphia's to lose. Even though there were some moments in the season, I mean, like week 5, week 6, early in the season, there was a lot of thinking, now Nick Sirianni's going to be fired. This Jalen Hurts is garbage. Barkley was a wasted pickup. There was so much negativity that if I would have told you, because I'm from the future, I come to all the Philadelphia news organizations, including like all the Philadelphia die bars that had like diehard fans, and say, Philadelphia's going to win the Super Bowl, and they're going to actually, embarrass the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, they're going to be up 34-0 at one point, Philadelphia. I'd probably get my ass kicked. I'd probably get my ass kicked anyway because I would have been the guy who came in with a Buccaneer jersey and a Buccaneer hat just to rub in their faces. But besides that, I think I would have not been treated with much bravado. But there might be that one fan in the corner who would have bought me a drink and then kicked my ass and taken my wallet. But it would have been some nice brotherly love between the people of Philadelphia. But they did. And Philadelphia smacked the Rams in the mouth, which makes me go back to the point of, yeah, 2 weeks later, the Bills game showed the Rams not quitting, but I never got the notion of their dark horse, contender. And Philadelphia smacked them in the mouth. And when the rematch happened, You made it seem like, okay, Ram has something to prove, but, Philadelphia weather can sometimes be a bitch. And the worst time to a very dome AstroTurf team in Los Angeles Rams. So sucks. It's your worst game because I honestly felt like even if you guys were to somehow make the playoffs, you ain't gonna do anything. Philadelphia's obviously a superior team. Sucks, man, but it's true. MVP goes to the resurgence of Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, 3,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Nothing there made you think, MVP. But the reason why I picked him MVP is because I thought he was on his last leg. I didn't think he was going to be any sense of impactful. I thought Puka Nacua would have been more the MVP. I mean, Puka Nacua still did his thing. He had, 78 catches, but he only played 11 games and only had 990 yards. And, Kupp only had 12, only playing 12 games. So the receiving was not there. That means a lot of had to rely on Matthew Stafford. Williams, the running back, had 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns. I can see why he would be considered, the MVP for the Ram. But I'm giving to Stafford because I'm not because I'm a quarterback supporter and a running back hater. Is I didn't think Stafford would have done enough to dictate the offense without his two receivers to the point that they were on the cusp of potentially making a run in the playoffs, but to keep the season alive. Matthew Stafford's my MVP because leadership and seniority catapult the team. Williams, the running back, was phenomenal. No one's taking that away from him, and the stats proves it. I'm just giving it to Stafford because when Stafford didn't have his best weapons, they still found ways to win and didn't become 100% the Russian running game. And Williams was one of those running backs that, with everyone else in the NFC side, you forget, like, wow, he was that good. Yeah, he was that good. Huh. So, I see the argument for Williams, statistically, but Stafford keeping the team alive, because let's be frank, very few teams can rely on a running back for every single play, every single drive, every single, game, because wear and tear, and, they're human, for crying out loud. Stafford had to make plays, had to make throws, and when basically I thought he was basically a broken twig, just a gust of wind away from falling over, he didn't, and he's still coming back. Stats, this might be a game where stats don't showcase more on why he was more valuable to the team than not. Stafford MVP for me. Grade for the Rams, a success. A success. You won the division. You won a playoff game. You scared Philadelphia a few plays. Snow came. Got it. Successful season. For all the reasons I just said. Puka and Coop were basically MIA for a good portion of the season. William was phenomenal. The defense was resilient. Stafford didn't look old and decrepit like a lot of quarterbacks like Peyton and Brady did toward the end of their careers. He played as high best he could, and he did well. So to me, it's still a successful season. The question becomes, well, let's go to the draft. Let's go to the draft. I do not know how long Stafford has, but I'm not going to say the Rams are going to draft a quarterback in the first round. They're going to get either, I'm putting Josh Cornelly, the offensive tackle from Oregon, Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle from Ohio State, and this one because I feel like the defense will become the new threat of the NFC in Campbell from Alabama. Now, I did see a lot of mocks that he might be going to Tampa, and I'm thinking, oh, please do. Please do. I know I did my videos a few weeks back before that, but I'm looking into Campbell as a Swiss Army knife, and I'm thinking, if he does not get picked up and the Rams wanted to say, we love Stafford, but we make this defense, in their early 20s, young and dominant, and William play as well as he did, and I mean, Puka's there. Maybe they just say, let's just keep solidifying this defense a little bit more. Let's just keep solidifying just a little more. I think they're going to go offensive line. This draft, I don't know if they're even going to get a quarterback in this draft. The question is, third round, fourth round, what quarterback you think the Rams would get in this draft period. I don't know. And I don't think, and the Rams to me, they're not a team that I feel like they're going to be a top 10 or even a top 5 pick in the next 2 or 3 years. Like, I don't see the Rams being anywhere near the top 10. So their quarterback are going to be from free agency again, or they're going to have to draft a quarterback in the third or fourth round and develop him. And we'll see how long McVay decides to be a head coach, because there was always that talk where he might retire, he might not retire, he might retire, not retire, and the inconsistency doesn't put a lot of support that he's probably in the mood to develop a young quarterback anyway. So probably when Stafford goes, he goes. So that is the Rams. The Rams are done. The NFC West is done. Now, normally I will go to the AFC West, but the Kansas City Chiefs are there. And I kind of want to give them best to second to last type thing. So we're going to the East. And no, we're not going to the NFC East because Philadelphia is there. So that means we're going to go across and up to the AFC East. And we're going to talk about the Jets, Jets. And that garbage dump of a franchise. And if you're a Jets fan, it ain't going to be pretty, because, boy, I am tired of putting support on your guys' hopes every single year. So we'll go to the AFC East and talk about the Jets and why they suck. Until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.